Okay.
This.
Well, I just want to, I just want to kind of get a feel for it and just run through the kids with you,
Okay.
your brothers and sisters. Okay, so where do we leave off with? We left off with Lewis. These are
No.
your brothers and sisters.
Emma. You left
Emma.
off with Emma.
Okay, so Emma worked at Safeway. She married.
Art
She had
Olson, and he farmed for a while, and then they had a variety store.
a variety store.
Yeah.
I thought you said she worked at Safeway.
Well, she worked at Safeway, and then after he got off the farm, they had a Safeway store, a variety store.
Well, they did. Okay. Okay, so that's Emma. Then who was the next one?
Joe
Joe Ereth, and he's the one that lives a little south of here, right?
Leisure worked.
In Leisure World, and he married. Let's see, Joe and Julia. Marion. Joe and Marion. Yeah, Joe and Marion. That's right. Marion died here. Oh, she had Alzheimer's, didn't she?
About 3 years, 3-4 years ago.
3-4 years ago.
Maybe not that long.
And when did he move from Montana down here?
Oh, long time ago.
Was it when you did or before you did? Before you and Grandpa did?
Before. He had a barber shop. And
So he never farmed. He went right away and
he
did
never farmed. He was a barber.
And then he moved down here and he got into real estate, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so then who's after Joe?
Frank.
Frank, and I think I've met Frank. Frank lives in...
Frank's in California. He went to California after he was married.
And what part of California?
Orville. He worked at the dam, at the Orville Dam.
Oh, he did. What did he do at the dam? Just an operator?
I don't know. He was just worked at the dam is all I know.
In Oroville. And how many kids did he have?
I think he had about 4 or so.
4 kids. And is he still alive? No. How long ago did he pass away?
About 8 years ago
8
or
years.
so.
Okay. Then who's the next one?
That was Frank. John.
John?
He farmed. Not farmed, he had a construction. And he really was an undertaker. He went to school for undertaking. But he didn't like it, so he got into construction, and he had big construction.
Dad told me a story about someone who went to school to be a mortician.
That's the one.
Went out on his first call.
Not the first, but...
You know, one of the first calls he went out on was the horrible accident. I think it was like a decapitation or something. And he quit. He worked for like the coroner. Is that the right guy?
That's the one.
So then he went into construction. Did he marry? And this is up in Montana?
Yeah.
And did he marry?
He married Ellis. I can't remember her name now.
And did they have any kids?
Yes. 4.
4 kids. Okay, and then who's the next one then?
Art.
Art. Did Art farm?
Art is a farmer, and he had lots of cattle, rancher.
Up in Montana.
Yeah. And he married down the Beckers.
And did they have kids?
Yeah, they had about 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
And then there is Sally,
And Sally's in Washington, right?
and she is in Enumclaw, Washington, and she had 3 boys.
3 boys. And she's divorced?
Yeah,
She's divorced. And she's the youngest, right?
she's the youngest.
And who's your favorite sibling?
I got along with them all, really, all got along real good.
Did you? What's your favorite memory of you being with all your siblings? Do you have any favorite memory?
No, I enjoyed it.
Any good stories? Anybody ever get in any trouble or any mischief, anything?
As many kids as there was, we didn't get in trouble. Mm-mm.
No?
Can't remember of one. Mm-mm.
Now on Grandpa's side, how many siblings did Grandpa have?
I don't know, I think there was a big family.
How many of Grandpa's brothers and sisters do you remember?
I only know the two that came from Romania to Denver.
Wait a minute. When I say Grandpa, I mean my grandpa.
Oh, I knew them all.
How many were there?
Celia, Frank, Madeline, Louis, Tony, and Fred. 6.
6 of them. Were they all farmers? Did they all farm?
The only ones were Frank and Louis. Well, Celia's husband was a farmer too.
What did the other 3 do?
But Madeline's husband, he was in construction. He had a great big construction company in Minnesota. And then Tony, he worked, Tony, that was Louis' brother, he worked at the elevators. He liked business. And then Tony. And then Fred, he didn't do much. He didn't work unless he had to.
Good for him. Good for him.
That's it.
And now, some of your brothers and sisters married some of Grandpa's brothers and sisters. So was Julia?
Well, Julian and I and Clara.
And Clara married the Melles. And Ralph was one of... No. It would be Ralph's dad.
Ralph's dad, Clara.
Yes, married Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And so you moved from Montana to Mesa in what, 1971 or 2 or something like that?
No, maybe in the 70s, I think.
In the 70s?
I think it was 70.
Mm.
It was 70. We sold the farm.
Sold the farm. And Grandpa was just ready to retire?
Then Grandpa retired.
And how old was he when he retired, do you remember?
How old was he, what?
When he retired?
60?
60? And you were 50?
59.
59 when you guys retired. Huh. And so you guys moved down, you bought the house in Mesa.
We had a house built in Mesa.
You had the house built in Mesa?
A Dreamland Villa.
Did you guys immediately like it here?
Oh, we liked it. Grandpa really liked it.
Did he? Happy to be out of the cold?
He had a big yard, and he had a garden and lots of trees, and that's what he liked to do.
Yeah, that was his gig, right? Horticulturist. Now, what sort of tell me about some like major historical events. Do you remember the first Man on the Moon? Do you remember watching that on the television?
I remember we were at Frank Schmidt's. We went there for dinner at noon, and it showed pictures on TV when they landed on the moon.
Wow.
We were watching it.
Was that pretty exciting?
It sure was. Oh man, was it ever exciting.
Who's Frank Schmidt?
Grandpa Melle's nephew.
Grandpa Melle's nephew. Huh.
They lived at Westby, and we went there for dinner. and it showed it.
Do you remember seeing the first time you saw an airplane flying?
First time I saw a plane? Yeah, I did, in Plentywood. On the 4th of July, a plane came in and gave people rides. Paid $2 or whatever it was for a ride, and
In the airplane. Did you ride in it?
no,
Were you amazed when you saw it?
yeah,
Was it pretty amazing? Was it like a biplane?
no, it wasn't just like a little plane. Maybe his name, the guy that owned it, his name was Thor.
It was Thor, huh?
Thor, Thor.
Do you remember what year this was?
I imagine in the 40s, 50s.
Something like that. And you remember, so you guys, if you moved out here in the 70s, that was when the Cold War was going on. And the threat of nuclear war.
70s.
Yeah. What was that like? Was that scary?
Well, all wars are scary. It wasn't here, you know, so.
Yeah. But do you remember, you know, the Russian, the threat of the Russians, and
Oh,
remember all the Russian leaders
reading about it all, sure.
and the whole nuclear Cold War nuclear standoff? Remember all that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you remember when Nixon resigned?
Addicted.
You remember that?
Remember seeing him standing outside of his plane when he flew off.
Yeah. What did you think? Did you think he was a crook?
I did.
And so Nixon, and then it was Ford, right?
Yes.
Ford. And did you vote in all the presidential elections?
Mm-hmm.
Were you a Republican or a Democrat?
Democrat.
Always a Democrat, yeah. And did you always vote Democrat, or did you just vote for the candidate you liked?
Most of the time, Democrat.
Yeah. And so then there was Carter. Remember Carter? Remember do you remember then the Iran hostage crisis?
The what?
The Iranian hostage crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's about 6. I think we have to head off to Dad's here, Grandma, so we'll pick this up tomorrow.
We're all done now.